Morning and welcome to today's live video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining me live, feel free to comment and I can interact with you as we go along. If you're watching this on catch up, then I'll try and respond to any questions or comments after the event. So my name's Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the UK. So this week I thought I'd do a pick and mix week this week, and for that I'm just going to be mixing up some products together, so either stamp sets or stamps and punches or stamps and dies. I'm just going to see how it goes during the week. So for today's card I've mixed up Bloom and Grow, which is the one with this lovely set of flowers on it for colouring in. Hi Jeanette. And Pallet Thoughts, which I've not actually used before. This is one I've used for the background, so let me just show you the two stamp sets. It's lovely and light this morning, so I don't need any of my artificial light. We're being bathed in sunshine, so that's always a nice start to the week. So this is the Bloom and Grow stamp set. Morning Carol. And these images are smaller than the actual finished images. They're 30% smaller. As you can see, they're quite big, and it's got three main floral images, some smaller ones here and some nice sentiments. So I'm just going to be using this one for today, which is this one that you can see here. So that's from Bloom and Grow. Morning Jill. Morning Monica. And then I'm mixing it with this one. This is called, as you can see, Pallet Thoughts, with this lovely piece of wood, or pieces of wood, and it's got some nice bold sentiments. I like the happy birthday, thanks for everything you do, and then we've got hello and handsome. Some little bits and pieces here, some screws, and it's a good day. And the one that I'm going to use today is thanks for everything you do. So that's the plan, and this is going to be our finished card. Now I have added some Wink of Stella onto here, but I'm not sure whether you can see that in the light. You might be able to, as we've got some sun today. So I'm using a standard A5 piece of card folded in half for my card base, and I've got a layer of early espresso, and then I'm going to stamp the palette piece on a separate piece of card. So the nice thing about the palette, and I'm sure this is absolutely no coincidence whatsoever, is that if you use the Stamparatus for step stamping, you can put these layers together exactly. It would be quite easy to do by eye, except for the fact it's red rubber, so it's a little bit more difficult to see where the edges of the stamp are, because obviously they're smaller than the actual stamp itself. There's a little edge around here, so I thought, why not use a Stamparatus, and it works exactly. So I'm going to stamp the background today in Sahara Sand, and I'm going to let you choose the colours for the flowers. I've got all my blends pens in some semblance of order right in front of me, so I can access all of the blends that I have. And I'm going to use early espresso for my sentiment. So let's open this up. It's a little bit close, isn't it? Okay, let me just wipe this down to start with. Make sure it's nice and clean on the back. So let me just see where this is going to sit. So just in from this one here. So I might need to do a little bit of moving around. Let's have a look, see. So this is the right size. If you're doing this for the first time, I recommend you use a piece that's larger than you need. I knew you'd say that, Carol. Carol says orange. I'm just going to bring this a little bit further over. So just want to make sure. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Oh dear. Right, let's try that. There we go, that will do. So the main thing is that it's over the edge on all three sides. Okay, let's pop a block underneath there. It's a little bit high, but it will do the purpose. Oh, Jill says Highland Heather. Oh, Jeanette says purple. Morning, Molly. Thank you, lovely ladies, for joining me this morning. So this is Sahara Sand. I wanted quite a light colour. You could, of course, stamp onto a piece of coloured card if you wanted to. Okay, so let's just see how this goes. Now this will go over the edge of the card, so I'll just wipe it down afterwards. But you could just put a piece of grid paper behind. So I'm just going to do this little bit here at the bottom. Sorry, it's a little bit in shadow with that lovely sun. Okay, I'm happy with that as my first layer. Going to ink it up and then move it. Doesn't matter what order you do this, you can move it first and then ink it up if you prefer. So this is going to go up 2 steps, 1, 2, and then I'm going to stamp it again. There we go. I quite like the fact that it's a patchy design. So you've got this darkness here like floorboards, it could be. And let's do, I'm happy with that as one layer, and then I'm going to ink it up and then move it up one more. Just going to bring in another magnet. Oh gosh, it's attached to my camera stand. Sorry about that. Let's straighten that up a little bit. I could get the magnet apart. It flipped together yesterday. There we go. Just so I can move that one out of the way without moving it. So just re-ink that. Okay, and then 2 steps up. Trying to do that without knocking the camera. There we go. Voila. Let's take that out of the way for the minute. There we go. So we've got our perfect floor or tiles or palette, whatever you want it to be. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is stamp my bloom across here, and I'm going to cut this out. Now I've used this stamp set before, but I haven't used the dies with it, so it's a perfect excuse to use the dies. You could stamp this straight on if you wanted to, or you could stamp it and mask it, of course, and then have the wood behind. So I've got 2 pieces here because I wasn't sure that it would fit on one. So let me grab an espresso. So most votes are for purples, I'm afraid, Carol. Unless anybody comes to your rescue. Yeah, it doesn't quite fit. I thought it might have gone on there at a different angle, but no. Such a pretty stamp. And there's 3 of these slightly different designs. Just love it. What I'll do is I'll colour it in first, and then I will die cut it out. There we go. I'm just going to put this light on at the side, combat some of that shadow. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of green. So I've got old olive here, light and dark. So I'm going to take the dark old olive and just do on the edges of the leaves and where the leaves are, they would be in shade underneath a petal or something, if you can see that, like so. So my recommendation, if you're doing a lot of these, is to colour them all in one after the other, because that way you get used to exactly where all the leaves are, and then you can come back and colour the petals in different colours afterwards, but it saves you thinking, oh, now is that a leaf or isn't it? So that would be my recommendation. That's all of the dark. Let's just use the light to go over it. Just so we've got a little bit of blending going on like that. It's quite subtle, if you can see it on here. Here and here in particular. Oh, perhaps you can't see that. Sort of these leaves here with the darker layer behind. There we go. So I hope everybody is keeping well and had a reasonable weekend. There we go. Certainly very autumnal here, but there we are in November, so we're allowed to be. Got a hair in the way there. Okay, so just going to do the same, and then I'll do probably Highland Heather. So again, just picking up those edges with the darker. I put that one there. I can see where I've been, I don't have to guess. Some of them are obviously easier than others. This one. There. So I was thinking actually when I stamped this that you could easily make this a Christmas card by making these look like Christmas roses. Morning, Lynn. And having the berries as red. I thought that would be quite effective to do that. Okay. So just a reminder, if you're watching this live and you're in the UK, that we have our 24-hour sale. So it's like an early Black Friday for us here for Stampin' Up, and there's 10% off the majority of items in the annual catalogue. The exception tends to be the accessories and things like that, but nearly all the stamps, dies, blends, pens, inks, ink refills are all on offer at 10% off, but for tomorrow only. So if you normally shop with me by email, you can send an order in to me anytime between now and tomorrow, sort of 8 p.m. at the latest tomorrow, and I can put the order in for you. Okay, that's all my foliage. Oh, bless you, Monica. It must be so frustrating. Right, let me see. So are we going Highland Heather then? Everybody looks like it. So I've got light and dark Highland Heather. So I'm going to do a similar thing with the centres of the flowers. So I'm just going to scribble in the centre and then just extend that out into the petals like so, and then add a little bit where I see any would be any overlap. So for example in here between these two petals. It is quite a small image relatively, so you don't have to go too mad if you don't want to in terms of blending. And if you can, leave a little bit of white space as well around the flowers, then that will give it some depth. There we go. I'll come back and do the berries in a second. Let's just do this little bit in here and here. I wish we could send you some of our rain, Monica. That's for sure. So I'm just using the light Highland Heather, blending that layer away, but leaving a little bit of white around the edges. This would look nice in quite pale yellow as well, I was thinking. But as I said, you could do it as a Christmas rose as well. So you can see the one I did here. It will come, oh good. So you can see where I've left these little bit of white around the edges. And obviously this is going to be die cut as well, so you've got a layer of white around the edge too. If you didn't have the matching dies, you could of course just fussy cut this whole thing. There we go. I'm going to do the berries, I think, in the darker colour. I might do one in dark and one in light, not sure. There we go. I want to do it fairly quickly rather than you sitting there watching me. And I did on my finished card, of course, use a wink of Stella. So I will add that accordingly. So just doing the centres, extending it out a little bit, and then adding a little bit extra where the petals are overlapping, where you'd have naturally a little bit of shade like that. Hope you can see that okay. For me it seems really close. The camera is quite close, but for you it does seem quite a long way away. Let's just add this in. I think that is most of it. Hello Tracy, hope you're well. Have you joined us from somebody else's live, I suspect? Monday morning is quite a good morning for catching up with other Facebook lives. And the nice thing about that is you can go and watch them on replay, which is great. So my replays are available in this Gemini Crafts Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel. And something I really must concentrate on is my blog as well. I think that's going to be my December project, as I'm busy working on my class in a box at the minute. Okay, so that's the majority of that, which I'm quite happy with. As I say, just leave a little bit of white if you can. Makes it look just a little bit more natural, almost like the light is falling on it, really. Like so. Oh, had the man come to measure up for new blinds. Oh, very nice. Is that all the way through the house, I wonder, Tracy, or is that just downstairs? So I'm using the dark one here, and they're quite small berries. As I say, I would try and leave a little bit of white. It's quite difficult. There we go. And then this one here. Voila. So I've left a little bit of white around the edge. Okay, so that's my dark one. Let's put the right cap back on. Start as I mean to go on. Oh, just the lounge. Oh, nice. Oh, yes, I remember you saying you were decorating. Right, so I do like the Stampin' Up storage for the blends pens, because it means you can have them on the table right in front of you, with everything on view. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab the die cut for this one here. I'm going to just line that up like so. It's quite an easy one to line up because you've got the berries at the edges and the flowers. So I'm going to do that for each of those and pop it through my machine, which I've got just next to me. I've got it on a stool so that it's not on the table and wobbles. There we go. There's one. There we are. It is pretty in the purples. This is my mum's favourite colour. So maybe this would be a good one to send to my mum, who's having a bit of a hard time at the minute. Sorry to do this off camera, but It's not a massive amount of point to bring it up to show you and then putting it back down again, so bear with me. So if you haven't got the dies, you could fussy cut around it, or you could stamp on the main image and mask it and then put the palette on top. There we go. All right, so this is going to go in the same way. I do like the way it sort of encompasses that. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment in the middle, and I'm going to use the same one. Thanks for everything you do, which should be a good one for my mum. And I just like the boldness of it against the fanciness of the flowers, if that makes any sense. So a little bit early espresso. I'm just going to put this in the centre because I know I'm going to be able to arrange the flowers and everything around it. There we go. Oh, that's okay, Carol with the knee. Lovely to have you join us. I hope you're well. So we're mix and matching this week. So this is Bloom and Grow and Pallet Thoughts. So that's going to go onto there. So let's pop it all onto the card and then put that on and then add some Wink of Stella and we're done. Is it the Bloom and Grow that you've got, Monica, or the palette one? And also if you had the large palette, the large wood image, you could use that instead if you wanted to. I can see a cat hair crept in there. So I'm just layering this on early espresso, and the reason I chose that was then I could choose any colour for the flowers. I could obviously have put that onto a Highland Heather base. So these are going to go on with dimensionals, which are here. Oh, Bloom and Grow, yeah, it's just so nice. But I bought the stamp set without the dies, and I used that for quite a long time, and I've only just used the dies. Now I might be slightly addicted. I do really think this would be nice for as a Christmas layout, so I might, if I get a chance, give that a go. So Christmas roses, my temptation is to go red, but I've got a feeling Christmas rose is pink. That's if anybody knows. They could tell me. Let's pop this onto the card first. So that's just going to go onto my Whisper White card base. Oh, thank you, Jeanette. I've had a bit of a traumatic weekend, unfortunately. Right, let's give this a go. So that's my layer onto there. And let's pop these on. So I quite like this sort of coming down over the sentiment like that. Oh, they're white, Jill. Thank you. There we go. Like that. And some Wink of Stella. So do they have a little bit of yellow in the centre, I'm thinking? Jill. So here is my Wink of Stella going on. don't know how much of that you can see in the light, really. Probably not a great deal, but I can see it. I'm just going to do some of the berries as well. Okay, I'll have to look it up because they are quite sort of like a wild rose here. Try not to go over the espresso too much because that will potentially run a little bit. There's one I missed. There we go. Oh, 10:31 exactly, and the card is finished. So there we are. I hope you like my designs for today. This is the one that I've obviously just done, and this is the one that I did last night when I was preparing. So do join me in the rest of the week for my pick and mix. If you've got a particular stamp set that you don't know what to do with, feel free to message me or comment on my Gemini Crafts page, and if I've got it, I will try and utilise that and mix it with something else for you. Sometimes I find if you concentrate on one stamp on its own, you can get a little bit blind as to what you can do with it, but if you mix and match it with something else, sometimes it just changes it altogether, and you find you can become a little bit more artistic with it. So thanks so much for joining me today. I shall be back tomorrow, so if you're live in the UK, I'll be back here at 5 p.m, so live at 5. Thanks Monica for joining us from far afield. Thanks Carol, I'm sure she will. Sure she will. She loves getting post, but then don't we all? Oh, and talking about receiving post, I do have something to share with you, which I will put a photograph on, and that's this lovely card here that I received from Carol W.'s granddaughter, Isabella. So this lovely unicorn die cut, the rainbow and the clouds, and she's put on there, "You're unique," with lots of bling, and then inside, "Follow your dreams and stay magnificent." How fabulous is that? So that little card there is gorgeous, and that is from Isabella. So I will pop a photograph of that on my Facebook page as well, but that's so sweet. So thank you for joining me today. As I say, do message me if you'd like me to feature a particular stamp set. I'll see what I can do. And have a safe week, everybody. Stay safe and look after each other. Look after yourselves, of course. And take care. Keep crafting. Hope to catch up with you soon. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.